Hey, this is Walter Jones.
This is Austin St. John.
And you're listening to
Ranger Danger.
In the podcasting life, they must fight to survive. Shackled by the chains of the past. They're the biggest of geeks, cause they watch every week. Subscribe to see if they can last. Go, go, Ranger Danger. We can't ever stop. Go, go, Ranger Danger. Podcast till we drop, probably forever. Yeah, whatever. Ranger danger, Ranger danger, Ranger danger, Ranger danger, Ranger danger, Dino charge.
Welcome to Ranger Danger Dino Supercharge. This is the podcast where what do we do, Tim?
We kick ass and we talk about Power Rangers. And guess what? We're fresh out of ass.
All
we're gonna do today is look for more ass.
Okay,
about Power
Can we order it online?
Yeah, it's really expensive though because of shipping.
Oh, so shipping to this country is just the worst.
I mean, the dollar's strong at the moment, so that's positive.
I don't think it is. I think that's something that you've said because that's something people say.
No, I thought it was.
Oh, okay.
I actually thought it was.
I don't know.
I mean, I could be wrong, but maybe it's.
I think it's not weak. But it's not like it used to be in the good old days where we were getting like $1 to $1 in the US. Anyway,
yeah, it's definitely not that
This
good.
is definitely not a podcast where we talk about the value of the dollar.
Isn't it?
Certainly not for more than a couple of minutes.
Is it a podcast where we kick ass?
No, it's a podcast where we talk about Power Rangers.
Oh, okay. So I had it a bit.
This is episode 7 of Dino Supercharge.
That's my favourite one.
It's called Run Koda.
Okay,
it's episode 816 overall. It's funny you say it's your favourite one.
Can it be an episode about Tyler?
Yeah, probably.
Can't wait.
Several members of the cast have tweeted that this is their favourite episode of Dino Charge.
Look, it's probably an episode all about Koda, which means it's everyone's favourite.
Obviously, it's going to be everyone's favourite episode. Before we get to that,
yes.
Happy Easter!
Happy Easter, everyone who celebrates Easter.
If you don't celebrate Easter, happy Discount Chocolate Week for next week.
Always a great holiday, secular holiday.
Don't really have much to talk about this week. I did want to mention that Matt did a guest appearance on another podcast this week.
Big Bad Matthew.
So that's a podcast called Silver Screen Queens.
Mm-hmm.
It's two people Matt knows. They're both ladies. They talk about movies. This week, they didn't talk about a movie. They talked about Daredevil Season 2, which has just come out on Netflix.
Interesting.
I have also seen it, but no one invited me on a podcast to talk about it.
Rough.
So that's like, if you guys are thinking, man, I love Tim, obviously, but I just wish I had some more Matt in my life.
And a bit more Daredevil Season 2 commentary action.
Yeah, that's a 90-minute podcast, so...
That's heaps of minutes.
Plenty of Matt. Even if Matt only talks for like an even third of it, that's 30 minutes of pure Matthew.
Solid Matthew.
So there you can see that, search for Silver Screen Queens. Their website is silverscreenqueens.com.
Nice one. They've
got like Googles and Facebooks and Twits and all that.
Don't we all, Michael?
We sure do.
Don't we all?
I'll make sure there's a link in the show notes as well, because you might not be able to understand anything I've just said.
Don't forget to look them up on Twits. That's for sure.
Daredevil Season 2 is pretty good. It's not. I don't think it's as good as Season 1, and I don't think Season 1 was as good as Jessica Jones, but I still think they were all good, and it looks like empirically they are all better than Batman versus Super Bat.
I just don't know why you held out any hope.
I'm still hopeful that random episodes of Power Rangers are good nearly 3 years into this podcast.
Yeah, I guess you're an optimistic
capable
guy.
of vast amounts of hope.
I mean, that's fine. That's healthy.
I don't know that it is, because I thought Superman Batman might be good, and early reviews are starting to come in. And
it's only an issue when you give them your like $15 and go see it, though.
Yeah, but I'm going to, because I need to know for myself.
Yeah, well, that's not optimism. That's masochism.
Yeah. Anyway, Daredevil Season 2 is very good. It is nothing like Power Rangers.
Well,
it's more like Power Rangers than, say, watching Parliamentary Question Time.
But it's less like Power Rangers than other seasons of Power Rangers.
Yeah, well, all seasons of Power Rangers are exactly like Power Rangers by definition.
Yeah, that is true. It's less like Power Rangers. Maybe this isn't true. Is it more or less like Power Rangers than Bakugan Battle Brawlers?
I know very little about
Yeah,
Bakugan.
me either.
Is that like Beyblade but with marbles?
Pretty much, yeah.
Okay,
It's hard to judge. It's a grey area.
right. Was Beyblade like something, or was it the first one of those?
No, I want to say... Well, I mean, it was like Pokemon.
Yeah, but it's not in the same way that Crush Gear is Beyblade but with cars.
Yeah, I'm going to say Beyblade started that wave of shows.
Right.
But I'm not an anime scholar. I don't know. I could be missing out on something really important.
Oh yeah, there's that like the seminal 1984 animated film called like
Spinning Death Discs.
There's a monster in my top or something.
There's a monster in my top.
That's translated, obviously. It's much more elegant in Japanese.
Michael, we both know in Japanese it would just be called Top Monsters.
Yeah, but it's a clever pun in Japan, right?
Yeah, I guess.
Anyway.
Daredevil is a little like Power Rangers.
Yeah, as discussed, it is somewhere on the continuum of like Power Rangers between more Power Rangers and things that are not like Power Rangers.
Yeah, correct.
It's definitely on the... Anyway, it's very good. If you enjoyed Season 1, you will probably still enjoy Season 2.
If your favourite part about Power Rangers is brutal, gritty violence,
Yep.
you'll love
People fighting
Daredevil.
with chains. The Punisher. The Punisher's really good.
Is he? Because I haven't watched it yet.
No.
So I'm guess. Everything I've said is a guess.
Like...
I don't know how like Bakugan Battle
That's
Brawlers.
true of a lot of your life, isn't it?
I mean, what I like to do is keep things open.
Right. Anyway, yeah, Elektra is fine, but
just fine.
the ninja stuff about Daredevil is not the stuff that particularly interests me.
Okay.
But yeah, like Punisher's good.
Does he punish?
Oh, he punishes.
That's good.
To be honest, the last episode is missing him like doing a lot of punishing.
Okay.
Like I was kind of expecting him to do like
Some more punishment.
a lot more punishment, and he just does a bit of punishing instead.
Well,
But throughout the entire season,
You get enough
He does a
punishing.
lot of punishing.
well, that's what you'd expect, I suppose.
Yep. Episode 3 in particular is like a standout.
For punishment?
No, just like
In
as an
general.
episode of television.
Fair enough. Okie dokie.
And episode like 8 or 9, but I won't say why because you should be surprised.
Episodes 3, 8, and 9.
Well, it's 8 or 9.
3,
They're all
8,
good.
or 9.
And it's only 13 episodes long, so like you could watch it in a day if you're
And
crazy.
2 of them are great.
No, yeah. The rest of them are also good.
Yeah.
Anyway, speaking of great and or good, I hope this episode is great.
Boy, me too. And I mean, look, we say that not with pessimism anymore.
No, it
to
might
be honest.
actually be good.
Like, every
Superman
time
versus Batman.
No.
No, it might actually be good.
No, it actually might be good.
So I know a little bit about what's going to happen this episode.
Okay.
I want you to guess. It's called Home Run Koda. What do you think we're going to see?
I mean, if we don't see Koda join the baseball team,
Sure.
my heart's going to...
When you say baseball team,
Yeah.
are you thinking professional or amateur?
Well, I mean, I guess my brain is still in Mighty Morphin mode, where they all go to high school together and there would just be a baseball team.
Right.
But that's not true.
No.
So, I guess some local minor league baseball team.
Okay, so he's not like going to join the Yankees? I realised when I started that sentence that I did not have an ending to that sentence.
My guess was Mets.
I think the Mets are a thing.
I know the Yankees are a thing. The White
Cubs.
Sox.
The Cubs?
The
Cubs are the one that haven't won since the Ottoman Empire or something.
Stick Boys.
No, that's
not one?
I don't think.
The Beaver Pelts.
No, I think we've definitely said a baseball
You know what?
team.
I think we hit out 1 or 2.
Yeah, we hit a home run.
Koda.
That's God, I don't know enough about... Do you know anything about baseball?
I know what having loaded bases is.
Yeah, that's when there's someone on all of them, so if you get to run to one, they all like...
If you get a home run, that's 4 runs.
Yeah.
Does the podcast have many American or Japanese listeners?
Mostly American.
Okay, so there's lots of people screaming at their devices.
I mean, I think we had recently an episode about American football, so I think they're used to it by now.
Yeah, but everyone knows how American football works.
Well,
Someone says a bunch of numbers and then say hut, and then they run at each
Forest
other.
Run,
and then you stop.
Yeah.
And in a couple of minutes you keep playing, and then you stop.
And the game plays for half an hour over the course of 6 hours.
Yeah, good. As it should be.
Well, baseball also takes, like, all day.
It's a numbers game.
But I know bottom of the ninth, that's a thing.
Okay, but do you know what... Obviously, that's the... I mean, do they have innings?
Yeah, it's the ninth innings.
Okay.
And I think the bottom is, like...
The end.
The end of the... Yeah.
Is the ninth the last one?
No, I think...
Is the bottom of the ninth the equivalent of the 11th hour?
Yeah, I think there might be, like, 12?
Well, that's like the ninth hour, then.
How many innings in baseball? I'm looking at... Oh, there's 9 innings. Okay, there you go.
Come on, like that doesn't make sense if there's more than 9. It's like, well, it's about 1:45.
And so they're each divided into halves.
So
the bottom of the
half.
ninth is like the end of the baseball.
I mean, I can tell you what a baseball is made of.
Can you?
Yeah, it's
Tell
got a
me.
hard rubber core.
Yeah.
Then it's got... I mean, a professional grade baseball will have like a woven nylon sort of like majority. Like,
Yeah,
so there's
sure.
a hard rubber core, then a pressurized woven nylon.
Yeah.
So it pushes outwards, so they're not compressible. The whole thing is pressurized and then is forcing outwards on the leather exterior, the leather stitching.
Right.
Of the ball. So if you ever slice one in half, like with a bandsaw...
It just explodes?
Well, it doesn't explode, but it starts to, like, force its way open.
What if you crush one with a hydraulic press?
It probably turns to a flat, glassy sheet, like what happens to everything else if you crush it with a hydraulic
I'm going to
press.
add a link in the show notes to the hydraulic press channel on YouTube.
There's a lot of good video content in 2016.
Yeah, it's been a good year.
You might want to throw in Red Hot Nickel Ball, is a classic in the same vein. And you might want to throw in some Power Rangers links so people don't get confused about what this is.
No, look, if I can be honest, when you go back through our show notes, like, the number of times we've linked to the Smith's Crisps Gobble Doc...
Wait, more than once?
More than once. Only ever, I think, talking about the same character, which is a character on Masked Rider who looked like the Gobble Doc. And I think we mentioned him a couple of times.
Do you charge your Gobble phone in a Gobble Doc?
No, do you remember the Gobble Doc?
Clearly I don't.
The Gobble... Okay, so
we're going to
now
link to
this
the
is
Gobble
like
Doc
the fourth
again.
episode where I have to link to the Gobble Doc.
Welcome to Mighty Morphin Gobble Doc.
The Gobble Doc was like a Smith's Crisps monster who like advertised them. Tell me what you're imagining.
Well, I'm picturing the Mammy Noodle monster.
Oh no,
Because that's
no.
the closest my brain knows
No,
already.
so much more horrifying.
Or I'm picturing Grimace.
You're not going to sleep tonight at all.
Oh
buddy.
my God.
So his catchphrase was chippy chippy chippy.
Seems racist. Not sure how, but it seems it.
And so he was like one and a bit meters tall.
Okay.
And the thing was always like he wants to eat the chips, right? Like
Obviously.
Right, so this is the Gobble Doc.
Oh, for fuck's sake. Who... Ewoks had like animal faces for a reason.
Yes.
Who would put a human face on an Ewok?
There were alternate versions of the
Oh,
face.
good lord.
None
That's
of
like
which-
Chucky. That's like Chucky's head on a teddy bear.
So look, here is a picture of him compared to Ed Sheeran.
I mean, it's a striking resemblance.
So that's the Smith's Gobble Doc.
Okay, well, I won't sleep for a week.
Chippy chippy chippy, as we say. Is he better or worse than Keeper?
I've done farts that are better than Keeper.
Okay, but is the Gobble Doc better than those farts?
Better than some, worse than others, all better than Keeper.
Okay.
As we say in the business, fuck off ET.
Hashtag fuck off ET. Hashtag
Get
secret
it,
hashtag.
Get it trending, guys. Get it trending.
Yeah, all 12 of you who tweet.
Hashtag fuck off ET. Hashtag get it trending. Hashtag keep the bands on it.
You can't do hashtag get it trending.
I mean, we might get some like accidental bumps from other people, so it might be a bit easier.
Hashtag, oh god, okay.
Hashtag get it trending.
Alright, We have to go watch this episode.
Hashtag home run Koda.
Yeah, so let's go see what that is.
Hashtag bottom of the night.
We don't know anything about baseball, so that's going to be fun.
And I suspect we won't learn anything either.
Yeah, I mean, they'll probably watch Koda play baseball, but it'll probably just be like he hits the ball and gets a home run, right?
Koda. It's a numbers game, Michael.
Yeah, it's all about yardage.
I don't think it is.
Yeah.
I think there's a lot of games you can say that about, and I don't think baseball's one of them.
All about the yardage. Hashtag yardage.
Hashtag yardage.
We'll be back in a bit.
Ranger danger, ranger danger.
That was dumb.
Oh, ridiculous.
I can't tell if it was too dumb.
I don't think so.
Like, that was great.
I had a good time.
But it almost stretched believability. I know it's ridiculous to say that talking about an episode of Power Rangers, but like, how long was the time span of that episode?
I mean, yeah, that was tough.
I have a lot of questions, but I think maybe let's kind of just get to them as we
move
go.
through it.
Before we get to the episode itself, I have a question about that opening narration.
Yes.
Why did Keeper think dinosaurs could keep the Energems safe?
He's a fucking moron. Every time we hear it, I wonder.
Because, like, Sledge had guns.
He's a magic alien, right?
Yeah.
Just hang on to him yourself.
Yeah. Maybe it could turn them into dinosaur Power Rangers? That might excuse it. Anyway, it's just, like, I wouldn't want to fight a Stegosaurus, but if I had a laser gun,
I'd feel better about fighting a Stegosaurus.
I'd be willing to give it a shot if he was possessing an object of untold power.
It doesn't. Yeah, you'd stand at a distance and see how you went.
Yeah. Anyway,
Keeper's a moron is the answer.
yeah, he doesn't show up at all in this episode.
Thank God.
Yeah.
Didn't ruin a good thing.
No, there wasn't even really anywhere that he could have gone, but no, it's good. It's a nice...
No, it's not like he provides any service anyway.
That's true. It's a nice no-keeper episode. Okay, so we're in the park, and Chase in particular, but kind of everyone gets involved, is teaching Koda
About sports.
just about sports.
Which, frankly, it surprises me took them this long.
I like to think, we don't ever see it, but I like to think that, someone was talking about, like, the game of baseball or the game of gridiron or whatever it was that was on TV last night. And then Koda is like,
"What is sports?
What is sports?" And they went, "Oh, okay, let's
go do this.
Let's go do sports."
Sure.
So he's got a tennis racket, and he asks if it's for catching butterflies.
Yep.
Because Koda is and always will be the best character,
The biggest sweetheart on planet Earth.
I like that Ivan asks, like, Ivan is aware of what sports are, but he's just not up to date on sports in 2016.
So he asks where the jousting equipment is.
Or the greased pig. That was a real medieval event, too.
I mean...
Because you can imagine, right, catching a greased pig, A, difficult, but B... Entertaining, and C, like, quite simple to set up.
All you need is grease and a pig.
Exactly, right? And the pig produces its own grease.
Well, I wouldn't put it like that.
Anyway, I love the idea that he's just been, like, he's figured out TV, but he's just been going, none of this is greased pig catching.
Where are they?
Anyway, so he's got a tennis racket now,
Yes.
and they're getting ready to start with tennis.
Yes.
Fury is in the bushes.
Yeah, they clearly know who the Rangers are.
Yes.
Why isn't there ever any Squat and Babu come for them in the night shit?
I mean, because that stuff is terrifying.
Yeah, but it would work.
This particular Fury beat very much feels like a Mighty Morphin kind of throwback. Like, Fury even says, so they like games, do they?
Yeah, that's true. It's the exact structure of an episode.
Yeah, that's like, okay, they're doing activity, so let's make an activity monster, and we'll fight them on activity.
Yeah, exactly.
In this case, the activity is just all sports.
Yeah, just sports in general.
But so he's got just the monster to spoil their sport.
Amazing. Good writing.
Great.
Enjoying it.
Anyway, so when we get back from the opening credits, Koda has broken 2 rackets because he is too strong at tennis.
Too strong.
I don't know that the physics of that makes a lot of sense.
I mean, it works in theory.
Does it?
Yeah.
Wouldn't you just hit the tennis ball very far?
Yeah, fair point.
Anyway, so now he's just too good at hitting. So Chase says, well then, rugby. That's the sport for you.
Yep.
That's a fair call. Rugby is definitely a sport for people who are too good at hitting.
It's kind of odd that they move beyond rugby because he's great at rugby.
Yeah, what we see is him dragging 5 Power Rangers behind him.
Across the field.
And not moving slowly.
No, like booking it.
Yeah, you would think that some sort of tackling-based sport. Maybe the issue is just that they're in America. There's no good rugby team.
Yeah, well, there's not. Coach Joe or whatever his name was.
I think his name is Ted, but we'll get to Ted in a bit.
Ted.
So Shelby's turn. She tries to teach him golf. She says, hit the ball as hard as you can.
Which is not the point of golf.
No, that's true. I had my thought was going to be, given what we've seen,
that's bad advice.
Like that's terrible advice. But yes, you are correct.
That's not what
the aim
you're doing.
of golf is not just to hit the ball very far.
I mean, look, does it take too long to say there's a little tiny hole a kilometre over there and you have to get it in?
Maybe she's just starting with like learn to hit and then we'll figure out aim.
But I feel like we've already demonstrated that he's quite good at hitting.
Yeah, well, he creates a dirt tornado.
Yeah.
Is what happens. And the ball lands in a cup belonging to someone who is clearly managing a training baseball team.
Yes.
And they're just off, like, on the other side of the field doing some practice.
I have never seen a golf ball land in a coffee cup. But given the amount of time it takes to come down after the hit,
yes.
I feel like it would have more force than, like, ploink into your coffee cup.
Well, yes, but, you know, that would require, like, getting a crane in for that day.
Oh, well, he could have just dropped it.
I mean,
like, whoa!
Okay, that's fair. But, Tim, I'm worried about encouraging more overacting on Power Rangers.
Not if it's for believability.
Okay, let's agree to disagree. It's Riley's turn.
Yes.
And Riley's going to show him baseball.
Awesome.
Hashtag caveman strong.
Oh, God.
So, you know, it's just like using a club, right?
Yeah.
Except you're using a club instead of to kill a mammoth, you're using it on a small ball
to kill a baseball.
being thrown at you rather than running away from you.
Interesting.
It's
like hunting.
I guess it is technically like a club in that it is a long stick that you hit things
Formally, it is like a club, yes.
Yes. All the actual other parts of the game, not like using a club.
Not like hunting, no.
Anyway, Riley pitches.
He's gay.
Yeah. I mean, I thought of it as I said it.
He's gay. Oh, well.
Yeah.
Someone's got to be.
Anyway,
statistically, there are 10 Rangers, right?
Yeah, so one of them.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's obviously Riley.
Yeah.
It's just... I wish he could be.
Hashtag Riley pitches.
Oh, no, I'm not comfortable with that one being used in our name.
Hashtag
I know we...
Caveman strong.
I know... I know we talk about it a lot, but I really just... It would really... His character has suffered a bit this season.
Yes.
I think there's so many Rangers, and he probably, like... This is the first thing that we've come close to a showcase episode for him.
Yep.
He had, like, a bit... He was a supporting character in Shelby's as well.
Yes.
But he's been a supporting character twice now.
Without having his own episode.
Not having his own episode. And I just wish he, like... If he got to do something, that would, I think, be to his benefit.
Yeah, absolutely.
But that thing wouldn't necessarily have to be being gay. It's just that it's such an obvious character trait for him. Anyway.
Yeah, anyway.
It's a sports monster.
A really good sports monster,
this is,
in my opinion.
Game Face.
Is that his name?
That's his name.
Okay.
Do you want to describe Game Face?
Game Face is... okay, so... I mean, broadly speaking, he he's made up of different sports equipment.
Yes.
So his torso is a giant gridiron helmet.
Yep.
He's got shoulder and knee elbow pads made of kind of different, like there's a fencing mask knee pad. There's lots of sporting equipment that makes up bits of armor.
Yeah, there's like a boxing glove shoulder and a catcher shoulder.
Yep. And then sort of splayed out on his back are different sporting like sticks. There's a hockey stick, there's a lacrosse. I don't know what they're called in lacrosse.
No,
because no one cares.
It looks
about
like a
lacrosse.
urinal on a stick. You guys know what we're talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah, like kind of designed to look like swords coming off his back.
Yeah, almost.
And then Tim, his head.
Well, his head is a basketball being slam dunked into a net.
It's great.
It is good.
We will get to the creature feature, but
He's good.
He's a good monster. It's a good design. It's kind of nonsense because they're meant to be alien monsters that Sledge had bounty hunted. And the idea that aliens have lacrosse is a little difficult.
Frankly, the idea that we have lacrosse is a little unbelievable.
The notion that they also have lacrosse on Mars independently. Although, I guess technically in the Power Rangers universe, humans have been to other planets.
Are you saying that we took lacrosse to Mars?
I mean-
and they were like, oh, this is good stuff?
Not Mars, like Edenoi or KO-35.
Yeah, true.
I don't think there's people on Mars playing lacrosse.
I love the thought that astronauts would dig lacrosse.
Yeah, it's all about, I don't know anything about
No.
lacrosse. They play it on Teen Wolf. And when I say that, I mean they played it a lot in the first season of Teen Wolf. And
Before the wolf stuff really
now
kicked
they're all
off.
ostensibly on a lacrosse team. But I don't remember the last time I saw any actual lacrosse
Any
happening.
stick urinals.
Anyway, so this is Game Face, and he's great.
Yeah, he's tops.
And he comes down with some Vivics.
He does.
And the Vivics attack the Rangers.
Yes, that's
We do
right.
get a quick shot of the baseball team, like, evacuating.
Which is nice.
But Ted stays behind.
Interesting.
He's an old man. Maybe he just wants to, like, check it out. He can't run.
I feel like he could probably run.
Anyway, Koda does a rad spin kick.
Yeah, it's a really good
There's
spin
3 or
kick.
4 spins. I have to assume that it's somehow wire aided.
No, I don't think it is.
You don't think it is?
No, because he's not actually off the ground for all the spins.
Ah, okay. So he's like spinning and turning it into a spin kick.
The last spin and kick is like he's off the ground for, but some of it is just pre-kick spinning.
Sure.
It does it didn't look.
It didn't have to be. Yeah.
I honestly, I'd be surprised if it was enhanced in any way.
I mean, given what we know about what that guy can just do standing on the ground like a normal human,
Yeah.
making the rest of us normal humans look bad,
look like we can't spin kick.
I have no doubt that he could do like a quadruple spin kick if someone said to him, hey, how many times can you spin and then kick?
Yeah, he's like, a few.
Yeah. Then we get an obviously wire-aided shot.
Yeah.
He, like, leaps across some Vivics to tackle Game Face.
But it's, again, like, yes, it's an obvious wire shot, but it's cool.
Yeah.
It's so cool.
And again, because he's a caveman and established as strong, and we've established that the energems make them stronger.
Normally, yeah.
It doesn't feel ridiculous.
No, it's totally fine.
Yeah. So he tackles Game Face, and just Game Face's stuff goes everywhere.
Yeah, which I enjoy.
Yeah. Including his baseball bat,
Yes.
which conveniently is identical to Koda's.
I mean, that's lucky.
Yeah. They wouldn't be able to be confused if they were different. Anyway, so now Game Face is on the back foot a little.
Yep.
He decides to get his Vivics involved.
Yep.
And they serve some explosive tennis balls.
Uh-huh.
And then some fatal footballs.
Yep.
Not fatal, but also explosive. And then they're about to pitch the brutal baseballs.
Yes.
When Koda hears the word baseball, grabs what he thinks is his baseball bat,
Uh-huh.
and just fucking demolishes the Vivics.
Returns all these brutal baseballs. Each of them hits a Vivic clear in the chest, and they go flying and then explode.
Yeah, it's great.
It's tops.
And then he does another one at Game Face, and Gameface does not explode, but does...
Well, Gameface catches it with his catcher's mitt,
but
still it takes him flying.
It's too far. So that's Gameface dealt with temporarily.
Yes.
I guess they could have chased him, but, they're all out of breath. He'll come back.
Yeah. If you wait it out.
Yeah, they never just leave. So Ted comes over, and he introduces himself as Ted.
Yep. Hey, Ted.
He's the manager for the Amber Beach Earthquakes.
He is.
Which are the local baseball team.
Correct.
And he asked Koda how Koda would like to play in the big leagues.
Which, I feel like Ted doesn't have that kind of authority.
Well, there's a lot of parts about this that are kind of crazy. Like, if Ted is the owner-manager of a small local baseball team...
Which is what he appears to be from how we meet him.
Yes. Then, yeah, I'm sure he does have that ability. Right? Like, he could say, join the team.
Yes, he could say, join my team.
But what we see is... I don't know, I'm terrible at estimating, but a tens of thousands of people, if not 100,000 person stadium.
A stadium.
Full of people that the Earthquakes play.
So this is literally the big league.
If this is like Amber Beach's team, and Amber Beach is a city like California or Ohio, like it's a major US city...
This is still crazy.
First of all, there's no way they'd just be practicing in the park.
No.
And second of all, there is absolutely no way that one dude could just go,
be on the team.
You fought off a monster, you get to be on the team now.
Yeah, true.
But I guess, look, Koda gets to play professional baseball. Let's gloss over that.
Yeah, look, we're going to have to.
Yep. I think I liked... He asked Koda, would you like to play at the big leagues? And Koda turns around and just says, would I like that?
Which is a fair question.
Yeah, Koda didn't know what baseball was half an hour ago.
Yeah.
He doesn't know if he wants to play in the big leagues or not. Does that mean growing giant? That's a thing that he does regularly.
Yeah, that would not be unbelievable.
And Riley offers to coach him. Because Riley loves baseball.
Clearly.
But he doesn't have the skills to play baseball professionally.
No, he just has a love of the game.
So he can train Koda, and together they'll be unstoppable.
Yep.
And Koda turns around and says, alright, I'll do it. And he just looks so pleased.
Great dude.
I just love Koda.
Tops guy.
If this show was just about Koda, I don't know that it would be better.
It wouldn't work. You would need supporting cast.
Oh yeah, but I'm imagining Koda's the only Power Ranger.
Right.
I would still watch that show.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I don't know that I'd still watch that show for any of the other Rangers.
No.
But Koda, yeah. If anyone was going to get a spin-off...
Yeah. It would be Joey from Friends.
Koda's not the Joey of the Friends.
Well, no, but that's the one.
Actually, maybe Koda is Joey.
Nah. Oh, God, yeah.
Because, he's dumb...
I mean, he's not Ross and he's not Chandler.
And he's not Monica or Phoebe or Rachel. Joey is the most accurate analogue.
Yes.
There you go. So it's right that he got a spin-off.
Yeah.
Yeah. And he was in Lost in Space.
Hang on.
Do you remember that movie?
Yeah.
I remember liking it. But I also remember that I was at exactly the age that, the CGI monkey was targeted at.
Yeah.
So I was expected to like it.
You were designed to like it.
I don't even... I wonder... I should get that on DVD and rewatch it. I bet it's terrible.
I'm sure it is.
Anyway, that's not what this is a podcast about.
That's also true.
Alright, I'll make sure there's a link in the show notes if you didn't see the 1999 Lost in Space film. Alright, so... On the evil ship...
Yes.
Gameface is kind of making a bit of an excuse.
Yes.
He's saying it's not his fault. The Vivics were too out of shape because they eat too many treats.
Which is honestly an interesting line.
We have seen the Vivics with that treat cart once or twice before.
Times.
So it's a recurring prop. But as soon as they have to eat, something about the fact that they just die by the dozen becomes more horrifying.
I mean, I hadn't looked at it that way, but that is a fair point.
It gives them...
We don't know that they die.
Well, are you suggesting that there's only 12 Vivics and they just go away every week?
Maybe not only 12, but Like, if there's 50 or 100...
And they just take a while to get better.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess that's possible. We get a shot of the Vivics, like, with cake all covering their face masks, which just raises so many logistical questions.
Yeah.
Do they eat through the mask? If so, how? If not, why would they have smeared cake on the mask?
The only way I can read that is, like, they used to be able to eat, but they don't. Like, they've been turned into these horrible monster slaves,
Which is also
they
just...
they can't really eat anymore, but they still have the muscle memory, so they try and eat through the mask, and now it's really
But
horrifying.
we know they can eat, because they've gotten out of shape from eating too many treats.
But yeah, it's such a weird throwaway that I wish wasn't there.
Yeah, because it makes this issue so much more confusing. Anyway, so apparently this baseball team of indeterminate size have nowhere better to do a press conference than in the cafe.
Yeah, I mean, I think this is one of the issues when they're not in high school.
Yes.
Is everything still has to happen in their place?
Yes.
And when your place is just your high school, of course everything that happens to you happens at school.
Yeah.
Or in the park. Like, that is how it works.
Yep.
But when...
They're adults with jobs.
I mean, I guess you're only at your job... Like, you're at your job as often as you're at school.
Yes, but that's the problem again. If this was a small baseball team...
It would make sense.
Then maybe they'd have been like, but why would they be holding a press conference? Because there's dozens of reporters there.
Oh, so many reporters.
I can't imagine...
It doesn't add up.
I can't imagine that our local baseball team hold a press conference when they hire a new person.
No, it definitely... The scale does not line up with itself.
Anyway, so I also have questions like, I don't know, they're not necessarily meant to lie low, but I get the feeling that maybe the Power Rangers shouldn't be joining national baseball teams.
Yeah, I mean, but why are they meant to lie low?
I guess so. I don't know. That's the problem.
Because if the answer is so that the bad guys don't come and kill you in your sleep,
they already know.
They already know and don't do that. So
Yeah.
what's the fear?
I guess it's my using their powers for personal gain thing, but also that Koda's not really using his powers for personal gain, although maybe he
I mean, yeah, we see at the end that he might be, but...
It's just something about, I wouldn't like Superman joining a rugby team. You know what I mean? It would feel like cheating.
Well, Clark Kent joining a rugby team.
Yeah, and being okay, I'm great at sports.
Yeah.
Because...
But, I mean, if Clark Kent was as lovable as Koda...
Well, then maybe.
I'd be a little more okay with it.
Yeah. Oh, Yoshi should play Superman.
That would be good.
That would be good. Or just anyone.
He should get some
He
jobs.
should be Shang-Chi is who he should be. He should have been Iron Fist, but it's too late and that's a white guy now.
Yep.
But now that he's not, can he at least be the Asian martial arts guy?
Yeah.
Okay. Anyway, yeah. The only way this makes sense to me, Tim, is if it's a team in the state competition. So, maybe the best couple of dudes in that competition go on to the international competition.
Well, the national competition.
Well, yeah, and then, they go on.
But it's still too many people for the state comp. It's too many people at the stadium.
Maybe people in Amber Beach are just really into baseball.
But that's, more people than are in Amber Beach. You know what I mean?
Probably. The scale, yeah, okay.
It just
There's
doesn't...
no way to explain it. We're just going to have to
We're gonna have to live with it.
Alright, so there's a press conference. The
There
Rangers are just watching from, the cafe part.
Makes sense. They work there.
Yeah. So a reporter asked Koda how long he's been playing baseball.
To which he replies that his mother said he was born with club in hand. Which is nice.
Would the reporters question his weird lack of English?
Have you ever watched a sports interview?
Question answered. That's fine. He actually has a legitimate excuse.
Yeah.
He doesn't like wearing shoes,
They squish his toes.
Shoes squish toes.
Let's be honest.
None of us like wearing
Shoes do squish toes.
As I've said on this podcast, that's the beauty of the thong. It gives you the freedom of the open road without preventing you from stepping on snails and heroin needles.
I'm so uncomfortable with, quote, the open road. But that's fine.
Open toed?
Well, that's been Ranger...
So one of the reporters does ask Koda where he was born, which seems like a very forward question.
Seems leading and insensitive.
Yeah, because it's like, oh, overseas, was it? Koda starts to say that he was born on a mammoth hunt, which I think is a detail we've heard before.
I mean, that would be consistent with the quality of writing we see, where people bother to remember anything or look things up,
or just write them down when they say them.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they had to write them down in the script.
Well, yeah, but that is no guarantee.
True. As
we've seen with Tor the Shuttlezord / Tor the Carrierzord, or that time travel episode with the Green Ranger, or God knows the number of times that things have had different... There's like 6 swords in Mighty Morphin called the Power Sword.
I mean, frankly, I question the presence of a script in Mighty Morphin.
There are some episodes where you're like, oh, it's a pig. Oh, that's Pudgy Pig. I guess we're...
Alright, everyone, we're doing Pudgy Pig this week.
He's gonna eat everything?
Yeah, good.
Yeah, good. Okay, he likes...
That's a wrap.
Yep, great. Next scene. Anyway, so we're now at the stadium.
Yes.
So the Rangers are quite nervous.
Understandable.
Their good friend is playing in front of 100,000 people.
Yeah.
There's no indication of how long it's been.
No, the pacing gets weird as things move on.
Because we see Koda play at least 5 or 6 different games.
Yes.
Which can't be happening less than a week apart. Surely.
Certainly not. It's not that likely.
It's at least takes place over a week.
I mean, we move almost the whole way. No, we move the whole way through a season.
Yeah, because we get to... Well, we don't know that this is the first game.
No, but we certainly make it to the end of a season.
Yes.
Like, a month or two must get covered.
Yes. So, I guess that's a thing that happens this week.
Which raises all sorts of interesting implications later on that I'll get to.
Yeah, well, I think I know what you're talking about. Anyway, Ivan, luckily, has brought his lucky ram's horn.
Yep.
Which he blows. It's a big curly horn. It's great.
It's a fun time. He's from the past.
Koda has to wear shoes, Tim.
All the pros wear shoes.
He's not happy about it, though.
They squish his toes.
Shoes squish toes.
I mean, that's fucking day one stuff.
I googled but could not find, is there a rule that says baseball players must wear shoes?
Right.
In the grand Airbud tradition.
Uh-huh.
But I could not find anything. So, I don't know if technically you have to wear shoes. It seems like the sort of thing that would probably be regulated.
It's interesting because you get the feeling that types of shoes might be regulated.
Yeah, but maybe it's the sort of thing that says, like, you must wear one of these kinds of shoes. The implication being that you must wear shoes and can choose one of those kinds, not or no shoes.
I mean, look, I'll tell you this, and this doesn't say a lot for contemporary baseball, but in the early 1900s,
Yep.
Shoeless Joe was a very popular.
Who did Shoeless Joe play for?
That's what I'm trying to find. He is remembered, Shoeless Joe, for his performance on the field and for his... Oh, well, I'm not sure what that is. I'll say that he seems that he played for the White Sox.
Okay.
Seems that there was quite a scandal.
Wait, so did he wear socks? Tell me about this scandal. I want to know more about Shoeless Joe.
Well, the scandal is the Black Sox scandal, in which members of the 1919 Chicago White Sox participated in a conspiracy to fix the World Series.
Oh, yeah, I've heard of that.
Right. So,
that was like a huge deal.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, because they tried to fix the World Series.
Well, I'll tell you that he was banned from playing the World Series, Shoeless Joe.
Yeah.
It was his career abruptly halted in his prime.
Oh no, why? Was it because of this?
Because of the scandal.
Right.
He played left field for most of his career. Currently has the third highest career batting average.
God almighty.
I guess because he ended in his prime, so he didn't.
Yeah,
win
that's
off.
true. You'd no decline.
Babe Ruth said that he modelled his hitting technique after Shoeless Joe Jackson.
Well, there you go.
I'm just going to flick down, see if I can find nickname. Yep. Jackson suffered from blisters on his foot. You could say they squished his toes.
Yep, I
from
would
a
say
new
that.
pair of cleats, and they hurt so much he had to take his shoes off before he was at bat. As play continued, a heckling fan noticed Jackson running to third base in his socks and shouted, "You shoeless son of a gun, you!" resulting in the nickname Shoeless Joe. So just sticking with him throughout the remainder of his
but he
life.
probably wore shoes like in 99.9% of
Yeah, it
his
seems
games.
like
right?
from then on he probably continued to wear shoes.
There was
it just
just-
happened one
It was
particular
just one
time.
game. You fuck one goat, as they say.
As they say.
Anyway, so Koda literally knocks it out of the park.
Yes.
Into space, it looks
Yeah, like it doesn't appear to have... You can't see the curve of its trajectory.
No.
Which it must have, because it's an object, like, following a path. So
Yeah.
it would have a hyperbolic trajectory. A parabolic trajectory, sorry. But you can't see
No,
it.
it looks pretty hyperbolic, Tim.
Yeah.
It's going into space.
It's a more phenomenal trajectory.
Anyway, meanwhile, the Viveks are training.
Sorry?
I said, Tim, that Game Face is getting the Viveks in shape.
Excuse me? What? One more time.
Okay, the
For-
Viveks,
for the people in the back.
are wearing basketball jerseys and running up a gravel slope while Game Face throws boulders at them.
To weed out the weaklings.
It's amazing.
Is this dodgeball? Like, what is going on?
No, it's boulder climb, gravel scramble.
Amazing.
It doesn't need a better name, Tim.
One of my
It's got-
favourite games.
It's got an 85% mortality rate.
I mean, it's America's favourite pastime. Boulder climb, gravel scramble.
Oh boy. Alright, Koda is training as well. He has to eat healthy, and he's a bit bummed about that.
I would be.
Because eating healthy looks like it's a bowl of steamed green leaves
Yeah, it seemed like lettuce.
and a green smoothie instead of the Bronto burger, which we know he loves.
Which is not necessarily terrible, but like... It does raise the question of how exactly do you describe a paleo diet to an actual caveman?
You know what you used to eat? Well, it turns out that people have decided that that's good now. And Koda would be like, but burgers. And it'd be like,
yeah, well,
Koda,
listen, good point, Koda.
I'm with
but
you.
I've gone paleo.
But we died at 30.
Like, that's an interesting point, Koda.
We had no teeth. Oh.
We had communal teeth.
One set of teeth.
We
for
shared
all. Anyway, they call him Home Run Koda.
Which, I mean, given the fact that every time he swings the bat he hits a home run, is a pretty solid nickname.
I feel like he would immediately be under investigation.
Oh, yeah,
by every
doping
possible
inquiries.
body. Like, oh.
Better nickname than Shoeless Joe.
So they've got shirts with Koda's face that say Home Run Koda.
They've got signs.
I want a Home Run Koda t-shirt. And if Power Rangers is not selling them, they have really just made a mistake.
If only just considering the fact that they have to have made them.
Yeah. Anyway, like, he's so good at baseball that we get a magazine spin shot and a shot of him
Multiple magazines.
a shot of him being hoisted on the shoulders.
I wonder if those are actual... I mean, they can't be actual baseball magazines. I wonder if they are legally distinct from actual baseball magazines.
That's a good question. I feel like it's not worth it.
No, probably not.
But at the same time, knowing what I know about how you would design on a race like that, you would go baseball magazines into Google.
Yeah, absolutely.
And,
And
like,
then just pump them out.
Yeah. So they might well be. I do know from Twitter this week that a couple of the headlines on them are Easter eggs.
Right.
Like, one of them refers to the actor who plays Koda's brother.
Uh-huh.
And there's a line referring to like one of the casting directors for Power Rangers.
Sure.
Which is just something you do because...
Text has to go on the cover.
And you know you can clear those names because that guy's not going to complain.
Yes, absolutely.
But, like, nice.
Yeah.
Would have been easy enough for them to say Joe Jones, given how barely you can see them.
Yeah. Shoeless Joe.
Shoeless Joe Jackson. Okay, so in the meantime, Kendall's built a new Dino Charger.
Yes.
It runs on the energy of, like, the core 5 Rangers.
Yes.
And it's called the Dino Victory Charger.
Or Dictory Charger, as I like to call it.
And it can create a final strike. Because you know what these guys needed? Another finishing move.
I mean, it's just that they don't really have any finishing moves.
I just thought, you know what would be good? One with, like, a CG effect, so we can really tell. You know, other than the one where they make a human pyramid and Ivan flies through the gun, and other than the one where they combine their things and Ivan surfs on it, and other than the one where they combine their things and Tyler throws them, and other than the one where they all shoot their guns at the same time, and other than all the other finishing moves that this show has.
I mean, ignoring all of those.
I feel like there's been a different finishing move every episode.
Yes.
We don't need a new finishing thing.
Definitely not.
This one gets a pass because it's amazing.
I mean, it is actually really great.
But I just hope it's the only one from now on.
Why would that be true?
That's the problem, because I hate to encourage that sort of laziness. Like, to encourage that they just do the same thing every episode from here on out. Because I know that that's the problem with a lot of Power Rangers.
Yes.
But there is a fine line.
This is the wrong way to solve the problem, is the truth.
The period where the Mighty Morphin guys had, like, their weapons, and then they might use their guns, and then they might use the power blaster, that felt like the right number of options.
There's a few options,
with,
not
like,
just one.
Steps up in between.
Yes.
None of these are any different in power. They all destroy the monster instantly.
Yes.
It's just that sometimes they have to stand on each other's shoulders.
And one of them's new this week.
Anyway, Dino Victory. They need Riley and Koda, obviously, to test it out.
Yes.
Because it needs everybody.
Yes.
Koda's instantly like, yeah, sure, let's go right now. Riley says no.
We gotta train, man.
He started chewing gum, which is a nice touch.
Yeah.
It's just a little character thing that you instantly go, oh yeah, I see what's happening. That's what's happening there. So now they're at what I assume is a semi-final game. Because if they win this game...
They make the championships.
They make the championships. The championships of what? Who
don't know.
knows? Anyway.
This mysteriously enormous baseball competition.
Look, long story short, Koda does it again, and they're in the championships.
But with great reluctance this week.
Well, you know, because now he's understanding that this thing, baseball, it's taking away from his job as a Power Ranger, which he takes quite seriously.
Yeah.
And also, he has to wear shoes.
Yeah, and shoes squish toes, so... You know, not an ideal arrangement at this point.
Yeah. The Vivics are still training.
I mean, frankly, I am on board with what's going on here.
It's just, you know, some nice self-improvement.
It just seems like throughout the entire history of Power Rangers, the random henchman monsters have been rubbish.
Yep.
I like that someone's gone, they're actually quite rubbish, you know.
You know, if we spent, 10 minutes or 6 weeks...
Just if we spent one montage helping these guys out, I think it would, we would reap the rewards in the long run.
It's a shame to say that they don't, but, I mean, they don't.
It's a shame that in the format of, a Kid Saturday TV show, they can't, ever.
Yes, there's no way that the Vivics are going to suddenly kill the Power Rangers because they spent 6 weeks practicing.
I mean, have there been many two-parters?
We've had this season, loose multi-parters.
Right.
Like the arc of Tyler's dad.
Sure.
Which spanned 3 episodes, but
wasn't a specific
wasn't it to be a
because
continued.
that's the only place you can ever really...
Yeah, is the Vivics win, and then next week we have to train. Yeah.
Because there's room for that cliffhanger.
Yeah. I don't know if the no 2-parters is... a Nickelodeon side decision, a Saban side decision, if they just didn't think anything was particularly worthy of a 2-parter. I'm a fan of that loose multi-part structure.
Well, yeah, well that just gives you an episodic show.
Yeah.
With like a larger plot going on.
But I do think like last season's finale in particular felt like 2 episodes worth of material
in one episode.
Which
is not great.
And I just think occasionally a good, especially at the end of the season, that's the right place for a multi-parter.
Yeah.
In fact, anyway, let's just hope that maybe they figure it out by the end of this year. So these Vivics are just carrying rocks and running with them.
Yep.
And to motivate them, Gameface has an explosive stopwatch.
It'd motivate me.
Dumb, but Power Rangers dumb.
Yeah.
The right kind of dumb.
Seems in character.
So in the base, they've noticed that there's like a bunch of monsters hanging around.
Yes.
Or, as Ivan calls them, a bunch of alien scallywags.
I mean, of course he would say that.
He should say that. But Tim, the championship game is in an hour.
Now, here's the thing.
Yep.
The scene before this scene is Koda finishing the semi-final.
We get 6 seconds of them training, and then
and then the championship game is in an hour.
Yep.
So, at the least a week has passed.
Yeah.
And this immediately here you get a reminder of, the pacing of this episode of the events here have been wild.
I will say there's been like an obvious progression as we've gone through of Riley in particular as like being more into it and just like it's definitely
over pushing it.
It's not 5 minutes ago stuff is happening, but it's just bizarre. Like, does the next Power Rangers episode are we 6 months later now?
I mean, probably not. It does raise the point that time is kind of intentionally ambiguous so that Ash Ketchum can be 12 forever. Also, has Gameface just been out there for 6 months? Well, this is exactly the thing. Is it Ivan who points out, or is it someone else?
I think it's either Ivan or Tyler.
I feel like it might have been Tyler who points out that Gameface is still out there. And this has now been 6 weeks or something.
I mean, we've been watching for 10 minutes, but it can't have been less. Like, even if each of those games, for some bizarre reason, is on a consecutive day...
It's been a week.
It's been a week.
Which is 7 times as long as these monsters are normally, allowed to roam around and cause trouble. And, I mean, we know that he's just been training them, so he hasn't been causing too much mischief, but geez.
Yeah. Anyway, so look, they say, look, we need to go take out these monsters. We think it's Gameface. Let's sort it out.
Yeah.
And Riley says, but you don't know that it's something, right? And they're like, well, I mean, I guess technically not. And I mean, they do know it's aliens, so
it does raise the question. Do Vivics often, if at all, show up just on their own and it's not a big deal?
Yeah, I don't. Who knows? But then I think my problem is Riley is painted as being the unreasonable one here.
Yes.
Because he's not fully committed to being a Power Ranger.
Yes.
But his pitch is, if it's something, call us and we will be there straight away.
In the old days, when there was 5 of them and that was it, that wouldn't quite have flown.
No.
Because, we keep a tight unit and that's fine. When there's 10 of you just banging around, and we've already seen the successes of some of us showing up later...
If Keeper hadn't made James disappear last week, right?
Which we haven't forgotten about.
Those 2 Rangers could go... and they could still have a team of 6 go and investigate.
Yeah.
Or if Prince Philip was around this week, they could still send 5 Power Rangers to go deal with it.
Also, I mean, no one ever gives Prince Philip a hard time for just showing up whenever he pleases.
Yeah, I mean, and while I understand that he has the excuse of being royalty, Koda presumably signed a contract on this team...
has some kind of specific obligation.
I guess he's getting paid. It's,
I mean, he sort of must be in theory.
I don't know. I understand that it's important that Riley learns, like, being a Power Ranger is important.
Yes.
But it does not really feel like what he's asking is that much.
I think it seems like that just because of the context of this is like the third or fourth time he's done it now.
Yeah, sure.
It's like,
And
well,
if
every
it's-
time we want a Power
If
Ranger,
it's
you want a
been 6
basketball.
months, then
It's a developing issue.
Yeah.
Well, it wouldn't have been 6 months. It would have been 6 weeks.
sure. But, like, yeah, who knows?
Sure.
Anyway, Kendall is very not impressed. She does her not impressed face.
Seems fair enough.
So the Rangers go down, and they notice that the Vivics are training, and they are very puzzled by that.
I think that's fair.
Yep. I mean, maybe like me, they've never thought about the life of the Vivics outside, teleport down, fight, get blown
outside
up.
of death combat.
Like the idea that those maybe they're just dudes.
I mean, we know they eat treats. So,
Yeah. So Gameface realizes that the bat that he has, it's not his bat.
and how does he realise this?
Oh god, I don't know. How does he realize this?
Because this bat that he's got doesn't have explosive powers.
Oh, that, yeah, of course. It's just a regular wooden bat.
Which would bum you out if you had a magic explosive bat. Now, there's a very important and small thing here.
Yes.
Where...
It's Wrench.
Where Wrench says... Where Wrench kind of figures it out. He clues on and goes, this means that...
The Blue Ranger has your bat.
And that's how he's hitting all these home runs. Which means they're watching Major League Baseball.
Which means that it is a travesty that we did not get a shot of Curio in a home run Koda t-shirt.
Yeah.
Because
that's hilarious. That's a great joke.
yeah, why did we not get just one shot
Behind like an alien TV.
of those guys watching on a big alien screen?
Cut to it during the during the montage, the
yeah.
home run montage. Cut away to the folks at home watching.
That would have been great.
awesome.
And it's because, yeah, Wrench is at least aware of his baseball career.
But I mean, think about it. They clearly know who they are.
Yes.
Of course you'd watch that.
Yeah,
It's an interesting
absolutely.
development.
I mean, like, maybe you can study his technique, maybe you learn something, maybe you attack while he's in the middle of a baseball game,
Why would you do anything so useful as that?
maybe you attack the baseball game and force him to reveal that he's a Power Ranger on TV. Wouldn't that be a clever move? Or maybe we could
let's
just
not do it.
Maybe we could just watch and
Let's do something
Just
else
be
today.
aware.
Like nothing.
Anyway, but there's a pro because Gameface's bat has explosive powers.
Yeah.
Once he's close enough to it, he can just make it explode. So if he just goes to the stadium,
Hang on.
he'll just blow up Koda.
I mean, it's actually a good plan.
It's a great plan. If the Power Rangers hadn't been there, they could have gotten there unseen.
But, like all good plans...
The Power Rangers were there. I don't think that's quite true, but anyway. There's a nice bit where I think Wrench says to Gameface, "That's a great plan, you're so smart." And Gameface says to him, "Yeah, and handsome."
I mean, look, you might as well just kind of enjoy it.
It's just a nice little bit of characterization for that guy before he blows up in 7 minutes.
Well, we
So
don't know that's
the
coming.
Rangers try to contact Riley and Koda, but their communicators are in a cupboard.
in a duffel bag.
Oh no! I feel like he should have just maybe kept it in his pocket.
Yeah.
After he explicitly made the promise that if something was going on,
You
they could
contact
call.
him. It seems like an odd time to leave your stuff behind.
Yeah. Anyway, so they go, and the Rangers beat the monster there.
Yes.
They get there, and they say, "Okay, listen, very quickly. That's the wrong bat. It's going to explode. We need to take it." And Koda's like, "Right, well, you have that then."
Okay, and they all run off.
And Koda goes to follow them
Yes.
because they're going to go fight a monster, and he wants to
And
get
he
in
is
on
a
that.
Power Ranger too, so
But Riley says to him, "No, they can take care of the bat."
we have a game to win.
And Koda says it might be the championship game, but one half of that sentence is game. It's not more important than people dying.
Correct.
But Riley really wants it.
And I think here we see It's nice to see a little bit of character development from Riley, where we find out. Well, look, he's wanted this for ages. He's always loved baseball, but he's never quite had the natural talent.
Yeah.
And this is his shot at winning a game.
Yeah. And Koda says, okay, but we've got a team of teenagers who transform into dinosaur-themed superheroes.
You do have special abilities, Power Ranger special
Remember
abilities.
that time you lifted a car off a dude and it flipped into the air and it exploded? That might not have been him, I don't remember. Anyway.
Still, even the fact that you might be nearby to those actions.
Yeah, exactly. And Riley's like, yeah, okay, I've learnt a valuable lesson.
Yeah, he LAVLs it. There's music in case you didn't notice.
Yeah. So they're running away with the bat, trying to find somewhere. They can't get far enough away.
Well, yeah, they make it to basically the entryway, like the steps of the stadium.
But the monsters are in front of them.
Yep, and it's just everybody. It's the whole gang.
And the bat is clearly like starting to glow along the bat.
Yeah.
In such a way that
beeping in a TNT fashion.
You understand that there's a ticking timer there. So they give it to Koda, and he throws it into the air, and it explodes
harmlessly in the air.
It doesn't feel like it would have killed Koda if he'd been holding it, but I don't know that it necessarily would have hurt many other people.
I mean, I feel like that's our media our fictional media bias towards visually fiery explosions. The truth is that the most dangerous explosions have violent compression waves, and they don't look visually that interesting.
Sure,
and are physically very dangerous.
This has been Bombs with Tim.
It's my bombcast. Hi, NSA people, now that you're listening.
Yeah, thanks for listening. You've just quadrupled our download numbers.
Yeah, I really appreciate it.
Yeah, I hope you're enjoying it today. Thanks, NSA. But anyway, so he throws it, it explodes. And Gameface says, not my magic bat, and Koda gets a little bummed.
Which, I was kind of wondering how this would come up, when this realization would appear.
Yeah.
That, if that was a magic bat, he asked Chase, does that mean he's not really hitting the home runs?
And now's not the time for that.
I mean, Chase says the right thing, which is maybe.
Yeah. Honestly, you seemed to be very good at sports.
Yeah, a hot minute ago.
But without some sort of objective testing...
It's tough to say no for
It's tough to say either way.
Absolutely.
We get, the fastest morph we've ever seen on this show.
Yeah, they fly
not even a
into it.
morphing call, just right into a split screen.
Front flips off trampolines, we're good to go.
Then the Vivics get basketball jerseys, and they start throwing around an explosive basketball.
I mean, why not?
Fury and Wrench just decide that they're done and leave.
Which is classic.
It's great.
Imagine if you'd been, constantly beaten down by your nemesis, and then every week you're like, yeah, they got it.
I like the idea, though, that they're like, okay, either Gameface is better than them and will win, in which case we don't need to be here.
Sure.
Or what will happen this week is what happens every week, and Gameface will lose, in which case we also don't need to be here.
I suppose that is true.
I mean, the only possibility it rules out is Gameface is nearly strong enough to beat them, but needed Fury and Wrench's help.
To push them over the line.
But in which case, just...
I feel like you'd hang out for that just in case.
Yeah, I mean, you'd think so. Anyway, explosive basketball starts getting thrown around.
Correct.
It does a lot of exploding.
It does.
But luckily, Kendall shows up. And she's brought the Dino Victory Charger.
Or Dictory Charger.
Still no.
As I like to call it.
So they're like, right, let's use this on Gameface. What about all the Vivics? And Ivan just goes, alright, I'll take care of it. He does his Xandar Thunder attack, and they are just done.
Which, by the way that when he slices down, the shockwave says Xandar is pretty cool.
It's cool. Do you know the thing behind that?
I don't.
That's the name of the move in the Japanese show as well.
Right, okay.
Which is why they're from the country of Xandar.
Yeah, sure.
To justify
that
his
footage.
move still being called Xandar Thunder.
Amazing.
Because you couldn't edit around the words Xandar Thunder.
I mean, it does make you wonder about the relationship. Obviously no one's giving anyone else After Effects files, but You could do that.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen, or you know, the shots of the the Dino charges when
Yeah.
they go in the Japanese footage. Those have got like I don't think it's Japanese. I think they might just say like Kyoryuger on them. They
Right.
might just say like the name of the Sentai.
Sure.
And those all get like CGI'd over for the US show.
I mean, but you only do that once.
Yes, although on this show you do that a billion times apparently,
Well, no. Oh, well, that's true.
because there's so many of
So
them.
many different ones.
But yeah, I mean, I know there's a certain degree of sharing. I think the helmets are the Japanese helmets,
Right.
but the costumes aren't, because they have to be
They
fitted
wouldn't
to
fit,
the
yeah,
actors.
Sure. That makes sense.
And there's definitely a history of like, there's obviously shots of the American actors fighting game face.
Yes.
So those costumes obviously get sent to New Zealand for shooting that footage.
They must, yeah.
It's a good relationship. I believe I've actually heard that occasionally the Japanese will shoot some footage with the New Zealand Power Rangers team for like various reasons.
To fill stuff in and things like that.
Yeah, like if they need something, and you know,
Sure.
for
I mean,
whatever
that makes
reason,
sense.
because it's essentially another team capable of doing what they do.
Yes.
I kind of wish that those two companies were more intertwined.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because I think, like, imagine if they did a season where they, like, planned their shows together and, like, made two shows based on the same footage
Or, like, in a parallel way.
that they constructed, instead of, like, starting with one and rehabilitating
Following
it.
up with the other, yeah.
It would just, there's all sorts of room for really
Interesting
exciting kind of stuff there.
Yeah, definitely.
I'm waiting for a crossover, even though I'm sure it will never
It will
happen.
never ever happen, but it would be great.
It could work, maybe, possibly.
I mean, it could work, but it won't happen.
Even if the crossover, I think the crossover would have to be the American team go to Japan. Because Saban does not care enough for the other way around.
That's true, yeah.
But technically, the Japanese crew could hire 5 American actors.
Yes.
Probably. Maybe.
In theory.
I don't know if they could call them Power Rangers. Yeah, I mean, God, it's a challenging kind of thing. Anyway, let's move on. So Ivan just kills all those Viveks.
Yep, that
Tyler
happens.
goes into T-Rex Supercharge.
That happens.
3 weeks in, and that's already just a nothing thing that he does.
Yep.
Dino Victory. Do you want to describe Dino Victory?
Man, I don't even know if I can.
So, all the Rangers, like, hands on shoulders.
In a V.
Yep.
For victory.
And, like, the core 5 Rangers.
Yep.
Tyler's in Dino Supercharge.
Yep.
They're, like, dinosaur logo heads that are at the top of their yellow sashes appear above them, along with the word victory.
Yeah, that slides in from the right.
And then it's like Tyler shoots his gun,
Mm-hmm.
but instead of any kind of bullet or laser, it's those 5 dinosaur heads being followed by the word victory.
It's not subtle.
If there is one thing you could say about this show, Tim, it's that it is not subtle.
Yeah, that's
but I mean, it's great to watch, but it's just totally meaningless.
Yeah, that's the thing. If that was, you know, like for the first time seen in the last episode,
Yeah,
you know what I mean? I mean, like, imagine the weight it would carry.
yeah.
But because we see something like that every week, it all blends together.
Anyway, Heckle / Conniving Derek, if you prefer.
I do, thank you.
He orders make the whole team grow. So the Viveks just whacks the button a bunch of times.
Not enough times, which I was a little disappointed about.
I assumed that we cut away before he was done.
I don't think so, but that's fine.
So it's Game Face and some Viveks.
Yeah, 4 or
and
5
some
of them.
Spite Balls.
It's like it's a big squad.
Tim, how many Zords do the Power Rangers summon to deal with that?
I mean, they end up with 3 combination units, so I think 7?
It's 8 of the 9
Is it 8 in
Megazords.
total?
Yeah. The red and gold are both base for 2,
Right.
and the purple is the base for 1 more.
I see. Okay.
Which is insane.
It's very
we
full
get a 9 split screen shot of them summoning all those Zords.
Yeah, it's intense.
Yeah, I mean, maybe over the top. I wonder if Gameface was such a huge villain in the Japanese footage.
That made a bit more sense.
Yeah,
It
because
was a bit more necessary, more required.
like he's cool, but he's not.
He doesn't quite justify. I mean, having said that, this is like we're used to dealing with 1 tops 2.
Yeah, I guess the
giant
fact that
monsters.
there's like 7 or 8 monsters for them to deal with, that does kind of make a bit more sense.
It's a bit different.
Anyway, speaking of dealing with,
Yes.
the Vivix and the Spite Balls just
Get wrecked.
one shot.
I mean, and this is the problem. Like, power is meaningless, and it's not earned in any way. And victories aren't earned; they're just fired out of special cannons. And it's like, well, it felt a little hollow to me.
Yeah. They go into Dino Super Drive, whatever.
Correct.
So now it's just them versus Gameface.
Yes, correct.
Gameface, it looks like he's going to pitch a baseball, but then what he does is just a ton of different sporting equipment goes at them.
It's really not what I... Well, I mean, he does pitch a baseball.
But it's then followed
And
by...
then it, like, transforms into a bunch of hockey sticks and lacrosse hoops and, like, just all this shit.
It's amazing.
So weird.
But luckily, Tim, the Megazord has an inexplicable giant baseball bat.
I mean... Yeah.
Koda spins around in a circle and knocks all the things back at Gameface.
Well, whatever works.
And then they make a new formation of the Megazord with the purple and the red and the graphite.
Yep.
And they destroy Gameface.
Correct.
It's just... yeah. The best...
It's empty.
The best Megazord fights were fights, not a sequence
Not
of
cool
attacks.
Yeah.
But I don't want to keep talking about it. Anyway, it's the bottom of the 9th, Tim, and luckily we looked it up because we know what that means.
And we understand that is the last minute.
The game is tied,
Correct.
so they need a home run to win.
Correct.
But who shows up, Tim? Home Run Koda.
Home Run Koda. Hashtag HRK.
But he's not sure he can do it. He doesn't have a magic bat.
I mean, that's fair.
Yeah.
I doubt myself.
If you knew that every other time you'd been successful, you'd had a legitimately superpowered item.
Yeah, you would feel a bit dodge about going and trying with this very obviously plain wooden bat.
But he doesn't need a magic bat, Tim.
It's not about the bat.
He's hashtag caveman strong.
I mean, that is true.
Would you say Koda learns a lesson?
No, and the reason I'll say no is because when we talked about it last week, we decided that we're really not interested in whether or not they learn lessons. We're interested in whether or not they capital LL learn lessons.
Fair enough.
And Riley you can tell by the sound design, Riley learns a lesson and Koda doesn't learn a lesson.
Koda is just like overcoming a bit of something briefly.
I mean, I guess let's talk through what happens and then we can
Okay, sure.
we can go there.
So, strike 1, strike 2.
Which is the first time we've seen Koda miss because his bat's not magic anymore.
Yep.
So that's fair enough.
Can you imagine what it would like to be in the stands as a fan of the Amber Beach Earthquakes? You're like, this is the championships. We need a home run to win.
Here comes home run
Koda
Koda.
has hit a home run every time he's hit a ball.
Yeah.
That's why we call him Home Run Koda. Like, clearly guaranteed the win at this point.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then he whiffs 2 in a row.
Yeah, that's heavy days.
Yeah. But he hears Riley's voice.
Yeah, echo in his memory.
Trust his instincts. So he takes off his shoes.
Which is great.
Yeah.
I'm surprised. I mean, I'm not surprised. I was surprised that he kept his shoes on, which is obviously so that you can have this moment.
Yes. And then he grabs his bat
And he really chokes up on the bat.
in a caveman stance. So he's holding it like halfway up.
yeah.
He's got the other arm just like up.
Yeah.
He's crouched a little. It's terrifying to look at.
I mean, it's pretty great.
I mean, there's a reason that you'd never see anyone stand like that in real baseball.
Yes.
Because it's a terrible way to play baseball.
Yes.
But if they did, you would be put off your game.
And you see, we get to see, which is nice, the pitcher look at him and go, "Oh, geez, like, all right."
I don't even know how to take in.
I'm just gonna pitch, and we'll see what happens.
But like, you got to feel bad for that guy, right? He's managed to get the game to the point that they need a home run to win. They got one batsman left
and 2 strikes.
And 2 strikes. That's like win or lose for either one of them.
In this moment, yes.
Yeah. I guess you'd have to just get used to being that guy sometimes.
Oh, yeah, you just deal with that pressure, but it's definitely a big moment.
Anyway, Koda home runs it.
Home run Koda.
Straight into the atmosphere.
The shot, it's either the same shot or it's a very similar shot to when the bat is magic.
If the bad guys were still in space, I guarantee we'd have gotten a shot of their spaceship shaking a little.
It does raise the question of how powerful are the Power Rangers. Is it ethical for them to be playing sports?
Yeah, because we know that they have a degree of super strength.
Yes, clearly.
Even if Koda's reactions and ability to hit things are not a result of his Power Rangerness. Yeah. And by the way, if he's like some sort of Neanderthal or caveman, like not Homo sapiens,
yes, that's
also a weird, unfair advantage.
I mean, it's not necessarily an advantage.
No, but if it also gives him an advantage, like...
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, it's just, if he wasn't a Power Ranger, would he have been that strong? And...
all these questions and more
will not be answered this week.
That is correct.
Anyway, that's the end of the episode. Everyone's happy.
Correct.
I assume Koda retires from professional baseball?
Yeah, I mean, I would be kind of annoyed if I had to, like... reapproach that next week.
Would it be great though, a little, if next week, like 7 weeks from now, just a kid asks Koda for an
runs
autograph?
out? Yeah, I mean that would be good.
And that's the only other time we ever hear it.
Yeah, just a one-off moment.
Yeah. Alright, let's do our end of episode thing.
Let's absolutely do that.
So let's start with the Ranger Danger Dino Charge creature feature.
Let's do it.
I'm tempted to put Game Phase very close to the top.
He was great. And here's why I'll say he's great, and it's what I referred to earlier. Not only was he a relatively successful Monster of the Week,
yep,
he tried to get the Viveks in shape.
Yep.
And they were a little stronger.
Yep.
And it was pretty effective.
Also, like, on theme for the episode.
Yeah.
Not like they've got this game monster and decided to do an episode about, like, swimming, but clearly in the right field.
Yeah.
He had he thought of a clever way to use his powers.
Yes.
And didn't end up executing it, but through no real fault of his own.
Well, yeah, like, it would have gone fine had it not been foiled.
Okay, here's the deal. At the top, top 5, Puzzler, who was a puzzle-themed monster who could make mazes.
Okay.
He nearly killed 4 of the Power Rangers by freezing them to death.
Right.
Robot, who was Prince Philip's fighting robot, who became an evil fighting robot. Sheer Fear, who could take people's backbones metaphorically and literally.
That's horrifying.
Singe, who we like
who was
a lot.
Cool.
And Gold Digger.
Okay.
I'm very comfortable putting him in at number 5.
I mean, look, it's hard for me because I don't know any of these characters
other than Singe. He's
Singe.
not as good as Singe.
Right, okay.
Is he?
No. Singe is too important.
Singe has got a cool design. He's done cool stuff. He's just... This is a one-off monster.
Yeah, sure.
If he shows up again... Maybe. But at the moment, I'm totally fine with putting him in at a very impressive number 5.
Strong performance.
That's out of 25, so that's top 20% right there.
Definitely earned it.
Alright, let's talk Ranger Danger Dino Charge Fantasy Zordon.
Let's do it.
How did you go this week?
Pretty good. And
this was a Blue and Green Ranger episode.
It was, and I don't know... I suppose we'll see when we get to the scores.
Yep.
How we did comparatively, but it's definitely a lot of runs on the board, so to speak.
Yeah, I mean, I had a very kind of stock standard episode, I think. Like, everyone got their requisite power-ups and Zords, but no one really got anything else that special. So why don't you take it from the top?
Okay. So Koda did actually not get the most points this week.
Because of that lack of lesson?
Well, he was part of a Megazord formation and he entered a power-up mode, but so did almost everyone else on my team.
Yep, absolutely.
So that was all he did, so 4 points from Koda.
Yep. It's a shame he didn't get to do the morphing call. I think that would have been fair.
And from Riley, we have those same 2 plus the learning a valuable lesson.
Yep.
Which is a total of 7 points.
That's a good week for him.
It is, absolutely. It's an even better week for Kendall.
Really?
She was part of 2 Megazord formations.
Yep.
She entered a power-up mode, and she discovered a new Dino charger.
Yep.
So she was really having a banging week. And now here's one thing I'm not too sure about.
Sure.
The Graphite Ranger,
Yes.
their Zord was part of a Megazord formation.
Yes.
Does that constitute appearing in an episode?
No, he gets the 2 points for not showing up as well.
Okay, so that's a total of 4 points from him as well.
And how many points was that for Kendall, sorry?
That's 9 from Kendall.
Ooh, that's a good week.
Yeah, which brings my total to 24.
Ooh, gosh. Okay.
So it was a tops week.
This is going to be, it's going to bring the scores very close.
Okay,
So,
because you're ahead as it stands, correct?
Yes, but not by a lot.
Sure.
So, Chase was a Megazord formation in power-up mode for 4 points.
Easy.
Shelby was exactly the same.
Easy.
The Aqua Ranger was a Megazord formation and didn't appear in this episode.
Yep.
Because Keeper ruined his life.
Yep, because
And
Keeper is scum.
The Silver Ranger is apparently just not ever going to be on this show. So he just got 2 points. So I ended up with a total of 14.
Oh, okay.
So let's talk about the range first.
Yeah, sure.
Currently, the bottom of the points is 124
Is this the bottom of people playing?
of people playing.
Sure.
And the top end looks to be 151.
Right.
As usual, we're right there in the middle.
Uh-huh.
Your team is in the lead.
Mm-hmm.
You're on 141.
Killing it.
And I'm on 134.
Very tight.
So, 7 points in it. That's very much not a lot.
Yeah, absolutely.
Next episode is called Riches and Rags.
Okay.
If I had to guess, maybe a Graphite Ranger episode, because he is a prince.
I went Ivan, but it could easily go either way.
But without knowing, none of the other Rangers are rich, but also maybe the name is just a metaphor.
Yeah, it could very easily just be introduced at the start of the episode, like, look at this rich guy, and then that would be it.
Yeah, and there's a rich guy and a poor guy or something.
Yeah, sure.
Who knows? Anyway, that's it for Ranger Danger Dino Charge this week.
That is indeed it.
That was a good one.
It was. It was a good one.
I like Game Face. We love Koda.
Everyone loves Koda.
Alright, so that episode, Riches and Rags, airs tomorrow when you guys are hearing this, so we will be back next week.
Cool bananas.
I think after that there might be a week or 2 off, but we'll find
see what
out more
happens.
when we record that one.
Alrighty.
Other than that, have a great Easter.
Have a
if
more
you do
phenomenal
that.
time.
Enjoy chocolate. I know we will. And we will see you guys on Wednesday with Mighty Morphin Range Danger.
Perfect.